Hey travelers, welcome back to another episode of Canadian Star Wars Outpost. If you're new to the channel, my name is Greg and I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe to let YouTube know I'm making an okay video. Today we're actually going to overview the Denuo Novo's First Order Stormtrooper Kit. I just finished mine about a month and a half ago, and life got in the way, so I'm just making the video now, but I'm just going to do kind of a quick step-by-step of how I made it, the materials I needed to make it, and the total cost of what it will cost you in Canada to import everything. So let's check it out. Welcome back everyone. So let's just start with the materials you need. So first of all, you need obviously the plastic parts. So you're going to order that from Denuo Novo's directly. It takes about, unfortunately I had a little bit of an incident with Denuo Novo's and mine got lost in the mail and they had to resend me a new one. So it took a little bit longer, but the second one actually came in about 2 weeks. So I would expect like 2 weeks to maybe a month, maybe a little longer to get your suit. I believe it ships out of California or Wisconsin. Don't quote me because I'm not sure. But anyways, you need the pieces. They'll ship that out to you. It comes in a giant box and it comes all nicely wrapped. It's all vac form plastic, but you will need to cut it out, and it really depends on what suit you want, whether you want to build it or buy a ready-to-wear armor. But I built mine. They'll send you that. Comes with some gaskets, some Velcro, all the plastic parts, and some screws. I believe it comes with some screws and washers for the belt. But I can't remember. Materials you'll need is obviously, yes, the suit from Denuo Novo. Second, you're going to need a helmet. You can get that from Denuo Novo, but it's super expensive. It's actually just as expensive as the suit is. I think the suit costs you about $900, and then a helmet's like $935. So you're looking at $1,800, which is super expensive. I would recommend going on eBay or finding a third party. I got mine for like $300, but you're gonna need a helmet, you're gonna need gloves, boots, and a blaster or a weapon. And I believe that's really it. Everything else comes in the armor case. But yes, you're gonna order that stuff. And then secondly, you need E6000 glue, which you can get from Canadian Tire or Hormel Hardware. You need body scissors. So I got mine at a local hobby shop, but body scissors are the way to go. They're meant for cutting RC plastic and stuff like that. It will save you hours cutting that stuff. So get some body scissors. You're gonna need gloss white spray paint, some Velcro. I got mine at Walmart or Canadian Tire, I believe. It's just like garage Velcro to hang shovels and stuff up, but it kind of just looks like this. So mine's all bunched up, but just Velcro. Has glue on the back for you to stick it on stuff. You're gonna need some strapping, like something like this. I believe the suit might come with a little bit, but you might need some extra strapping. Buckles, for sure you're gonna need some acetone, which I'll go over later and why you need it. Popsicle sticks for the paste that you create with the acetone. A mason jar and some car polish, and like a good polishing towel like this. And that's really about it. So those are the materials you're going to need for this suit. That's just basic materials. I mean, you could probably buy a lot more stuff to make your life easier, but I made mine very simple and easy, and I kind of cut some corners. But I'll go through the steps by steps, and it may not make all that much sense right now, but once I go out, I've laid the whole suit out on the floor for us to look at. Once I go out there and kind of show you some stuff, it might make a little bit more sense. Basically, your first step is obviously you're going to receive that giant box, and you're going to cut it open, and you're going to have to cut every piece individually with the body scissors. This will be the most tedious part of the project. It takes forever. Your hands are going to cramp up. I would really recommend doing like 5 or 6 pieces a day if you can do it. It's just really annoying and frustrating, but it's all part of the process. And make sure you save your plastic bits. You're gonna need it. There's 2 ways you can do the suit. I'll try and explain as best as I can, but you can either paint the whole suit so you can like scratch it all up, sand it all down and repaint the whole thing, but it's gonna cost you hundreds of dollars in paint. Depending on how you paint it. I mean, obviously spraying it would be the best way to go, but you're gonna at least need a bucket of paint if you wanna do it that way. It does take the pressure off, but you're gonna spend a lot more money. I didn't paint my suit. I didn't paint it. So it's the same plastic. There's no coating on it. And now that I just remind myself, when you open that box, all those vac form plastic come with a plastic protector. Make sure you peel those off. Some people forget they're on there. They go and start trooping and their plastic or their suit starts to fall apart because they forgot to take off the protective plastic. So make sure you take all that off. So yeah, cut everything out. I didn't paint mine, so There's some loopholes, but yes, make sure you cut everything and then save that plastic for the paste that you make with the acetone, but I'll go over that in a second. And make sure when you print off the instructions from Denuo Novo, they're not very easy to follow. I made a critical error and could have spent a lot more money on my suit having to reorder stuff. But if you can see in the picture, I ended up just kind of gluing a spot back on and it worked. Thankfully, I didn't make that big of a mess up, but triple check where you're cutting. And there's tons of forums on Facebook, or like Facebook pages and forums that you can follow for people giving directions on how to make the suit. If you have any questions, just post it up on there. It'll make your life 1,000 times easier instead of making critical errors by cutting too much off or too less. But yeah, careful what you cut. Secondly, you're gonna paint. After that, after everything's cut out, you laid it all out. You're gonna paint the resin parts for the belts so they come a little bit more chalky. So obviously prime them and then paint them. Again, I'm lazy. I cut some corners. I didn't prime it. I just painted it because it's white on white. I didn't see what the big issue was. It seemed to turn out fine, but we'll see down the road how that treats me. So paint your resin parts. So that'd be all the clips, the belt clip, or all the stuff on the belt. So all the clips and all the stuff on the belt, paint all that stuff. That's just the little detail parts. Gluing. That's honestly most of the time consuming part of this costume is going to be cutting it out and then waiting. It's a hurry up and wait kind of costume. It's just a lot of gluing and painting and waiting for things to stick and coming back to it later. But yeah, gluing, there's again tons of forums. It does kind of make sense. I mean, Google First Order Stormtrooper and how all the pieces go together, this and that. But again, get on some forums, get on some Facebook pages. There's tons of great people out there who will give you advice on how to paint stuff or glue stuff together and make sure you're doing it properly. And then after that, once everything's glued, there are some certain parts that you are going to need to use filler for. So for a great example is basically the chest piece and the back you need to connect. So I'll show you when we go out there and show you the suit, but basically there's a big piece that covers your chest. I ended up cutting mine out because you don't need it. It gives you more room to actually get into the suit, but you need to connect the front to the back shoulders. And there has to be no seam line at all if you want 501st approval. So that's all got to be gone. So basically what we ended up doing, I did get a lot of help on this suit from someone who made it previously, but they recommended that you buy acetone, you get a mason jar, and basically what you're going to do is put all your plastic leftovers in that mason jar and just soak it in acetone and leave it for the night. It basically just breaks down the plastic and becomes a paste. That's what I did. It works pretty well, but I'll be honest, as well as it works, it's not an adhesive, if that makes sense. It's not really meant to keep things together. So, you know, you could find better ways to do it. This is just the way I did it. But basically you're gonna, you know, throw all those extra plastic pieces that you cut out into this mason jar, put some acetone in it, let it sit. It basically just breaks down and turns into a paste. And then you basically connect the shoulder part with glue and that paste. So I'll show you a picture of some stuff. So if you look at the picture, you can see basically what you do is you're just gonna put those two parts together, you're gonna glue them or whatever's best, and then put paste all over the lines to fill it and let that sit. And then you're gonna do this process like 3 or 4 times. Paste, sand it down, paste, sand it down, paste, sand it down. It's really annoying, but if you look at the picture, this creates kind of more of a toughness over time. And then basically what you're gonna do is when you get to a level that you're comfortable with, you're gonna sand it down and then basically use car polish to smooth it out. And that's what I did. So here's a before and after picture for you guys to look at. But that's what I did to seal the creases of my suit. And then you're gonna wanna do the belt, so connecting all the pieces onto the belt piece. Another kind of frustrating part, but as long as you measure properly and really make sure what you're gonna do lines up, then you'll be good to go. It's just kind of doing it. So I think personally, I think the best way of doing it is getting a soldering tool and just melting holes through the belt. Once you measure, again, measure 3-4 times before you actually poke a hole in the belt. And then basically you're just gonna, melt a hole through it and then connect it with a screw and it'll sit on there. Basically that's about it, honestly, and then the suit kind of just comes together, and then it's a lot of just figuring out how the pieces go together, and then it's just glue and Velcro. glue and Velcro. The belt, cutting out the plastic and using the filler is the most tedious part. This project took me about 3 months to do. I did it during the summer. I had a lot of extra time after work, but it is quite a process, and a lot of people do, start in and then kind of give up. It's just like anything else, just get it over with. Once you're done, you'll be pretty happy with the process. But that being said, let's go take a look at my suit. I laid it all out. I'll point out some stuff for you to kind of understand how I explained it. But yeah, let's go check that out. All right, travelers. So here is my suit. So we'll start at the feet, and we'll move our way up to the top, and then there's the helmet. So this is basically all you really need. It's really not that many pieces. It can be very frustrating or overwhelming to take on when you first look at it. But when even looking at it from here, as the suit is broken down, it's just Velcro. We'll kind of go through it. I'll show you some stuff that I was talking about. So yeah, you had to cut all these pieces out. It's very frustrating. It takes a lot of time. But once you cut it all out, you kind of just start putting things together. So we'll start over here with the belt. So everything's painted. And then you just got to measure out where it goes. The buckle, this whole belt comes with the kit. But basically, if we just flip this over real quickly, as you can see, it's literally just screws in there to hold them there. They spin. They're not on there perfect, but as long as they hold on there, you'll be good to go. So as you can see, it's just held on by a screw. These twist and move, but they'll be fine. Right, so that just goes together like that. Start down here near the ankles and the boots. So the boots, you have to purchase separately. This kit comes with all the armor, but it does not come with gloves, boots, helmet, and neck gasket, and a undersuit. It's like Amazon, like tracksuit almost, not like tracksuit, like spandex, that's the word I'm looking for. Comes with all the armor, the knee gaskets, the shoulder gaskets. Does not come with a helmet, the gloves, and the boots and the weapon, obviously. But yeah, we start down here with the boots. So I got these through a friend in the 501st, so I got a pretty good discount on them, but you can get them at places like Crow Props. There's tons of places that sell them. They're about 115 bucks. But yeah, so once you kind of figure out how things go together, as you can see, just glue on. So paint and glue on, and then Velcro. That's this whole piece. So this whole piece comes like this. There's no really attaching parts, but as you can see, it's literally just figuring out where you need to attach all these pieces. So that's just Velcro. It just slides on when you put the boots on, and then same as we move up to the shins, same idea, right? So it does come with stickers, so you don't have to paint anything. This is just a sticker, and then my clips on there, and then again, depending on how big your leg is and what you need to adjust. There's Velcro, and there's Velcro on the inside that goes over top. So this is just one I left out so you can get an idea of it. But this is a closed one. So this is what it looked like when it's on your leg, sealed. But this is going to be a prime example of what the paste is for. So if we take a look inside of this, right? So there's Velcro on the inside of this crack here. That just keeps it together. And then obviously these are just parts of the suit, extra resin parts that go onto it. They give it the details. But if you look inside of the boot, this cast, see all that paste? That's my acetone and leftover plastic. So basically you use it to seal parts, make them, bind a little bit better with the glue. So basically these were glued together with E6000 glue and then held together with, magnets or whatever you want to use. And then I put paste all on the inside to kind of close that gap and keep it closed. So that's what I use the paste for, and I'll show you the shoulder parts. Yeah, and then for this, when we move up to the thigh, again, same idea as the shin, just glue, Velcro, and then again, I use some paste on the inside to keep it all together. But you don't have to do this, but I do this just for storing purposes. I literally just leave the gaskets in so I don't have to worry about them and how I connect them. So this knee part is its own part. I just have Velcro on the other side. I sewed in a piece of Velcro into the gasket just so it stays there. And then when you look on the inside, this is my buckle. So sorry, this is not very good lighting, but here's a buckle here. So basically I stuck some Velcro on the inside here, and then I sewed some Velcro onto this buckle and strap, and then I Velcroed them together, and then I just put duct tape in there to hold it down a little bit better, because this whole buckle basically keeps this whole part up. And I'll explain my harness system. Again, it's very cheap, but that's all that is. And then there's Velcro on the inside to hold these where they are. Moving up further, so there's 2 straps here on the ground. Basically how I made my harness and to keep my thighs up is basically I wear a belt, and then these loop through my belt. So I put this in the belt, or put the belt through here, and that sits on my waist, and then you just buckle this to the belt, and that's what keeps your legs up. You can buy harness systems. They are way better. I am just cheap and looked for loopholes to get this suit together. But that's basically how your legs hold up, is through a belt and a buckle system. As we move farther up, this is just the crotch. Again, just cut out. This just has Velcro on it. That's it. Put Velcro on the bottom of this part. That's it. Stays there. Same with the butt piece. Same idea, right? So there's Velcro on the inside. There's Velcro here. All right, now this is where things get a little bit more complicated and kind of tough to make sure things sit properly, is the torso area. So for the detonator, the thermal detonator on the back, there are multiple ways to attach this. Some people put like hooks on the top of this, and then they'll hook it to the back of this piece. I just used a shit ton of Velcro. This thing is actually pretty heavy. It's the heaviest part of the suit other than the helmet, depending on what kind of helmet you get. But yeah, so I just use a shit ton of Velcro because it was just the easiest thing for me to do. So if I pick this up, just to kind of show you what it looks like, right? There's the Velcro that holds it all on. And then you have Velcro all the way around your waist to hold the belt on, because that is all Velcro as well. I'll put this back down. But yeah, again, like I said, a lot of the suit is just gluing. You glue these on and Velcro everything and kind of just figure out how it all goes together. But this also has a front and back piece, which is where the filler and paste comes in, which I made with the acetone. So if we take a look at the side, just to kind of give you an example. So those are 2 pieces put together. So this is kind of a great piece to show you as an example, because I didn't sand the whole thing down, and you can see this big glob at the top, but it doesn't need to be perfect until about lower in the suit. So you can see in the middle here, it's pretty decent. It could be better, but the top part of this actually gets covered by this part, so you don't really need to put all the work in. You need to do just like the bottom half and smooth it out and make sure it's all good. But even still, there's some work I could do, like right there. It's a little bumpy. But yeah, that's basically what the filler is for the acetone when you melt down the plastic. Yeah, and then same idea. Gaskets with the bicep parts, I just kept on there. They're just sewed in Velcro parts and then attached so they don't move, so I don't have to readjust them every time I put the suit on. This is kind of the main part, which is very frustrating. So this is the part I was talking about here. If we take a look at it. So you can already see it. It's a little dirty. I need to re-clean it. But this is my smoothed out car polish part to keep the front and back together. So basically you're just gonna put layers and layers of paste on and sand it down until it's pretty tough, and then you just polish it so it looks better. So this is just kind of the step you need to do if you want to avoid painting. Now, if you don't care about painting the whole suit, then you can just find a better way to bind it and keep it together really strong and paint over it, and it'd be good to go. But as you can see, when you do it my way, you get cracks in here, which I'm going to need to fix. Yeah, I gotta find a better way to bind this, but I'm probably gonna have to fill this out and fix it. But yeah, and that's the chest part, and basically what you do to keep the chest part. So normally, right here, there's a big piece of plastic. I cut that all out, as you can see, just because it gives you more room to put the chest piece on, and then basically, you just need magnets. So I put some magnets in here. I gotta retape this one. Sorry, this is not the best example. It's a terrible example. But yeah, gotta get some new duct tape. But basically, you just need raw earth magnets, and then one on each side. So one on the chest piece here, and then one on the, as you can see, on the inside, which just connects these two pieces and holds them up. And then you have your neck gaiter and the shoulder pieces. So how I put my shoulder pieces on is basically, again, Velcro. There's a safety pin just to kind of shorten it because they were too long. But yeah, Velcro straps, that's really it. It's a lot of just, the suit is just, again, I could say this a million times, it's gluing and putting Velcro on it to make things sit. I mean, there are probably better ways to do things so they look much better and stay on better, but yeah, that's really it. And then here's my neck gaiter and my helmet, which I did a review on before, but this is the premium helmet. It's made of fiberglass. I would personally recommend the plastic one because it'll be a lot lighter. It won't be as heavy on your head. And then I'm gotta figure out a way. So this has like a nice felt on the inside. The plastic one doesn't, and you can actually like put fans and stuff in there to cool yourself because it does get hot in these suits. So I gotta figure something out. I actually have not trooped in this thing yet. So we'll figure something out to keep myself cool, but that is basically the suit. That's really all the suit is. It's a lot of gluing, a lot of Velcroing, a lot of time and patience for things to dry and stick and glue and paste to stay, and sanding and repasting. It is quite an annoying, kind of frustrating project, but once it all comes together, it's a very fun suit to wear. People love seeing stormtroopers and stuff at our events, so I'm not gonna put the suit on for you today, but I do have some pictures of me in the suit, which I'll share with you now. So I missed some steps. There's a couple of common sense steps that I forgot to mention, but I do want to mention them when you're building the suit. Obviously, when you cut everything out and you have your pieces of armor, make sure you sand the edges. They are extremely sharp. Secondly, I wanted to touch base on when you guys cut out or glue your shin part together, I actually put a baseline of duct tape around the edge, the bottom edge of the shin, just so it doesn't tear my boots up, because I noticed when I didn't do it, 1 or 2 times I put on the shin pad or shin armor, it is sharp and it rips away at the material of the leather on the boots. So make sure I personally just put some duct tape on there so when it rubs it doesn't cut. And then the forearm, I just wanted to mention, for the forearm, it can be a little bit confusing on how these pieces go together, but it is very straightforward when you look at it. But it confused me for a while. So basically, you have a resin part here in the middle. You're just gonna paint this. This just glues into here, and then this part glues on top. But this part, so this comes in two. So there's the top half and bottom half. This part just slides into the bottom part. It literally just slides in. It just slides all the way through. And then you just line it up and glue it in. It's really all it is. And then this would just go on like this. Right, that's all it is. But it can be really confusing to look at when you first look at it. So again, this part just slides into the bottom part. And then you just glue in here. That's it. But yeah, those are the couple steps I wanted to mention because they can be a little bit confusing. Now I want to cover the cost of this suit. It's very expensive depending on how you want to do it. Many ways you can do the suit. Like I said, I took a lot of shortcuts to kind of just get it done because this is my third suit. But yeah, I cut some corners. You don't have to do that. I mean, depends on how nice you really want your suit to look. But personally, I do recommend not painting it. It's going to cost you tons of money for paint just to fill all these creases in and sand them and sand the whole thing and then have to paint, make sure it all comes out nice and smooth. That's just me, but I mean, it's your suit, you do what you want. But cost. So I got my suit on Denuo Novos on May the 4th for $800 because it was on sale. I believe right now I'm on the site. It sells for around, I think it's $971 Canadian for the suit. When the suit did arrive, it cost $250 to import it. It is Canadian imports is super expensive, so you're looking at $1,100 just for the suit. Just to import it, do what you need. The materials probably cost me, like with the body scissors, the paint, and everything else that I bought, It was about 150 bucks, 200 bucks. And then the helmet itself, again, like I said, I got mine off of eBay. Look for a third-party site. I got mine for about 300 bucks. Mine is also the premier version. I do recommend get the plastic. It's going to be way lighter on your head. Gloves and boots. Gloves are from Endor Finders. They're about 50 bucks. And the boots, you can get them from all over. There's actually a site from the UK that actually has pretty decent pricing, but I can't remember the name of it. But you can go to Pro Pops makes them for about 115 bucks. And I think there's this, I just typed in first order Stormtrooper boots, and there's tons of sites that come up. They're about 120 bucks for boots. And then depending on how nice you want your suit to look, a lot of people don't like the gaskets that come with the suit. So a lot of people buy from Geeky Pink. She's out of Calgary. She makes gaskets, harnesses, shiny pants, neck gaiter. Depends on what level you want your suit at. I don't have shiny shorts. You don't need them, but if you want that higher level, you need them. But she sells everything at a pretty reasonable price, so I believe the neck gasket's about 50 bucks USD. And then the undersuit I got off Amazon for 35 bucks. And then the weapon, I couldn't find a blaster. I have people who can print me a 3D print one, but I know the blaster kits are pretty expensive. So I just went with the Riot Baton. It was like 150 bucks on Amazon. With the discounts I got on the May the 4th stuff, the connections I had to get the boots, I got the boots from a friend with gloves and a neck gaiter for like 180 bucks, 200 bucks. And everything else you need. I spent about 1,600 bucks on the suit plus import fees, which was about 200 bucks. So I spent about $1,800 on the suit, which is pretty good with material, and then probably materials, which I didn't add on, so 1950-ish. I spent under $2,000 for the suit, which is a pretty good price. I'm happy with it. It does what it needs to do. But there are other ways you can, obviously you can spend more money on materials if you want to paint it. There's other ways you can bring it in too. So I did come up with a total for it. So if you were to just buy everything for Denuo Novo, it's the helmet, the suit, and then plus the materials, you'd be spending about 2,500 bucks plus import fees into Canada. But then you'd also, so I spent, again, my import fees are just estimate. I spent $250 on import fees on just the suit, which was 800 bucks. So the helmet is 936 plus a new suit's 971. You can assume that you're going to spend 400 bucks on import fees. So yeah, you're probably looking about $3,000 to buy everything straight out, which is $1,100 more than I spent. So again, go on eBay, connect with people on Facebook groups, find cheaper ways to get the suit, because buying everything brand new is going to cost you a fortune. And then there's the ready-to-wear suit, which Denuo Novo sells. So the ready-to-wear suit would come with everything pre-built for you other than gloves, helmet, and boots. So you're probably looking with all that stuff together, I think it's about $3,400. So if you want to, I mean, if you're going to buy everything from Denuo Novos and you're going to build it yourself, you can save like $400 or $500 building it yourself. But like I said, I recommend finding deals where you can and saving the money where you can, because I ended up only spending about $1,800 on my suit. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Really appreciate you stopping by as always. Have a good one.